Now it's time for our weekly energy update with Dan McTeague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy. Take it away, Dan.
Okay, well, Teresa, great to see you again. And after a 1 week hiatus, looks like gas prices have remained pretty steady across much of Canada. That's really been the story of the summer, except for Western Canada. So starting in Thunder Bay all the way out to the Vancouver border, or if you will, the BC interior, central BC, prices have gone up about 10 cents a liter. Now, that was due to a refinery electrical outage at the Joliet Exxon refinery at just outside of Chicago. And that drove energy prices, if you can believe it, gasoline prices up about 30 cents a gallon over a period of about a week. And that's why we saw this sort of rollover effect. And I got a lot of calls this week from media asking why that happened. We always have to be mindful this time of year, what happens in the United States really does matter. That's not only important because they tend to use a lot more fuel than we do, they tend to be the price setter for all of gasoline. So when you're looking at Eastern Canada, what happens at the New York market really matters. When it comes to Western Canada, it's almost completely and entirely the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the Chicago spot market. And for the Lower Mainland and for Vancouver Island, it's usually the Pacific Northwest spot market, and that's usually out of Oregon. Now, the point is that all of this means that while we have seen steady prices, there is every likelihood that we could see prices jump, and suddenly we may not be able to foresee any kind of technical difficulties with refineries. But so far, touch wood, except for the Exxon refinery in Chicago, everything has been pretty quiet this summer. In fact, we haven't even really seen much in terms of any price action as a result of hurricanes in the U.S. Gulf Coast. There was a threat back a few weeks ago, but that seems to have subsided, petered out, if you will. And we may not see much until September if meteorologists are correct and they don't anticipate any major problems or disturbances in that region. What that means is that gasoline prices will continue to remain modest and within, a 2 cent, frame of where we are today. So Vancouver, which is enjoying 181, 183 a liter, will continue to see that price maintained. Much of the BC interior, so Kelowna, Kamloops, Prince George, saw a bit of an increase we saw in the last week as a result of the refinery issue in Chicago. We did see about a 10 cent increase. So average prices are trending in the 175, 177 range. In a little lower in Prince George, of course, has its own refinery, its own backyard, a very small one, albeit, but nevertheless enough for the product to be provided more locally. And no, the fires that we're seeing in Western Canada, particularly Jasper, are not having an effect on gasoline prices. There may be an effect on shutting in some of the 4.5 million barrels of oil that we do send to the United States every day from Fort McMurray and from the oil place in Alberta, but nothing so far. Saskatchewan saw a 12-cent increase over the week, up to 157.67 a liter. Manitoba up to 154 a liter. Ontario didn't see much. There hasn't been really much to affect prices, so they remain range bound within a 166, 167 range. That's Toronto, Ottawa, Windsor, London. All of those markets are likely not to see much of a change in the next week or so. As for Montreal, same, always follows the same New York price. So they're stuck in the 175, 177 range. And the same for Atlantic Canada, which saw a small decrease of about a penny for gasoline yesterday and today. And will continue and saw a little penny and a half or 2 cents for diesel. Those prices are likely to remain where they are. I don't see a scenario developing where prices are going to suddenly and dramatically go up. Now, having said all this, it sounds like it's really good news because normally in the summer we do see prices go up. But it's not great news when you consider this time last year, gasoline prices were about 9 cents a liter, almost 10 cents a liter cheaper than this year. I have heard one organization that received $52 million from tax money from the federal government called Canadian Climate Institute boasts that, carbon taxes were inflationary. Baloney. They're very inflationary. And if you consider the first carbon tax in a province like ours of Ontario, 17.61 plus HST, and then you add the second carbon tax, the Clean Fuel Standard, which is now 6 to 8 cents a liter in Atlantic Canada, 18 cents a liter now in British Columbia, you're darn right it's inflationary, and it is in fact raising the price of gasoline not just gasoline, but every other product as well. Okay, so that's it for this week. That's my only commentary that I can make. It's going to be a quiet summer. Let's enjoy these warm days ahead, and know that there's not much in the way to disrupt prices.